Hi, my name is Ben Cummings, and I just made $1.2 million in 3 days, having never done a sales webinar in my life. So if you're the type who has heard the miracles that Jason Fladlin is pulling off in people's businesses by teaching them how to structure, how to input all the psychology, all the sales triggers that get people to buy remotely just by doing a live webinar, it's all true. And I'm a testament to that fact. I just used the recipes that were taught right in Genius Webinar. You know, I didn't get too creative myself. I didn't overthink the process. I literally, if Jason said, hey, put a proof element after content block, I put a proof element. If Jason said, hey, make sure that you do this and handle objections after this segment, I just literally followed the recipes from his recipe book. And he literally gives you a recipe book. If you can just follow along with the recipe. And I also want to stress something else. This is an $8,000 per person course. And the course had never even been released yet. And we sold it out using Jason Fladlin's Genius Webinar recipes. We sold it out before I was even done doing the webinar. I kid you not. So to say that I'm pleased with the results from Jason Fladlin's Genius Webinar would be the understatement of the century. Unless you simply don't like money or something, you need to buy this course. You absolutely need to buy this course. And I'm not alone. I keep hearing all kinds of success stories and unbelievable sales results just like this from the other people, the other students of Jason's. So I would say that, you know, if you have maybe an objection yourself that, you know what, I'm not good at webinars, or I've never done a sales webinar, or I'm not comfortable, quote unquote, pitching on a sales webinar, I'm in the same boat, guys. I had literally never done a sales and pitch webinar like this one in my life. And I had all the same sort of nervous, anxious feelings about, gosh, will my market be repelled when I start, pitching and selling? But the secret behind what Jason has done is the sales pitch is invisible. The transition part is invisible. They get swept up in the great structure, the great psychological flow. And then before you know it, they're buying, and they're buying like crazy. Again, I just need to stress, not only was this my first ever webinar pitch like this, it was high ticket. It was $8,000 per person. We sold it out before the webinar was even done. And just something great that I want to tell you about is, see this piece of paper right here? I didn't have time to do something that Jason teaches at the end of a webinar where you handle objections. And so in an ideal world, you're thinking through the possible objections or confusions or challenges that they have, and you're just, smashing those objections during the webinar. I didn't have time to prep for that because I had to do this live webinar that I'd committed to. I literally printed out the word for word objection handling scripts, the recipes that Jason gives in his course. And I would just sit there and I would say, okay, so Jane says, wow, this seems pretty expensive. And I would just read. I didn't even have time to proofread these in advance, guys. So I was reading along, hoping to God that I didn't have to say, oh, wait, actually I meant yada, yada. This worked flawlessly. So the money objection, I just read it off of here. The time objection, I literally read it off of here verbatim. The product specific objections, So this is how, if you just follow his system, you will make money. And even, the bigger picture benefit for me was now I have this skill that can never be taken away from me. I understand the psychology of how to sell anything online. So anyway, needless to say, the Jason Fladlin course Genius Webinars comes with my absolute highest recommendation, and you just need to get this. You need to get this because this is one of these entrepreneurial skills that not only, can you apply this obviously to webinars, but if you do any platform speaking, if you take the exact same structure because when you're speaking live, you have slides, you have to do a transition, you have to do a close, it'll work equally well out there as well. So anyway, on behalf of myself, Ben Cummings, I just want to thank you, Jason, for coming out with this amazing product.